Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new. I'm Holly, and today I'm sharing with you 4 budget-friendly, easy meals that are delicious and I think your family would also enjoy. So let's get started making these. And for dinner tonight, we're having chicken tostadas. You can't get much easier than this. I found these McCormick Street Taco Packs. They have different flavors, and I'm using the ranch flavored one, and I'm going to double this, so I'm doing 2 packs. And you can see it's very simple and easy. You just need a pound of chicken, some water, and the packet. And then in tacos, like tortillas, the tacos, or like I said, I'm using tostadas for this. So I'm going to make both of these packs and add that to my cooked chicken. So I drained off any of the, water and stuff that was in it, and just browned it up and cut them up, and then just added the seasoning mix to this, and it's a Southwest Ranch seasoning flavor. So I'm adding 1 cup because it's a half a cup per pack, and then I'm just adding those seasoning packs to the chicken, and that's it. Basically, you just cook this until it's heated through and it's cooked. So kind of that liquid absorbs. But I'm using these tostadas. I'm going to put those on a sheet pan, and then I'm going to add some Mexican cheese to the tostadas. Then I add the chicken mixture on top, add as much as you want. Then I'm going to add some more Mexican cheese on top of that, put it in the oven until the cheese melts because that chicken's already, warm and cooked. Then I added this Old El Paso, it's a zesty ranch sauce, put that on top, and then I added some lettuce and tomato and also some sour cream to top it off, but you could add whatever you want to this. These are super easy, great, quick weeknight meal if you're in a hurry, during the week. Kids would love this as well. And you just pick them up and eat them, and they're delicious. This next meal we had was a cheeseburger biscuit. Simple, easy, another, quick meal that you can make during the week. But you need a pound of ground beef, some onions chopped up. I think it was half a cup of onions. You'll need some biscuits. I'm using the Grand's buttermilk one. Some garlic powder, onion powder, and I love that Kinder's seasoning. Black pepper, some cheddar cheese, and some garlic as well. So I'm just going to season my ground beef with all my seasonings, and this definitely adds flavor. Whatever you like on a cheeseburger, kind of add that to your ground beef. These were all, great seasonings to just, get that seasoning into the meat. Then I just toss in the onions and the garlic and cook that with the meat until it's completely cooked. Now, while that's cooking, I'm going to take the biscuits and I'm going to cut them in half. You can either use a knife or shears, kitchen shears, which is what I prefer to use because I feel like it's just a lot easier. So I just cut it down the middle and just start, going around. And this made it so much easier than trying to, use a knife. And it keeps the biscuit intact. It doesn't lose its shape. So once I get that cut, I kind of just peel it apart, and I put the bottom part down in a greased 9x13-inch pan, oven safe pan. Take the tops and I just put those on a plate. And once I get those all on there, I'm going to put this in the oven and on 375, cook them for about 5 minutes, and then take them out because you kind of want to give them a head start for the bottoms. Then I'm going to take that cooked ground beef, and I'm just going to start putting them, kind of make sure I have them on the biscuits first. And then I'm just going to finish kind of putting the rest of the meat on there. And just spread it out the best that you can. And then once I have all of that on the biscuits, I'm going to take the cheese and then just spread that out. Then put the tops of the biscuits back on. And I'll put these back in the oven for about 25 minutes, 25 minutes, until the biscuits are cooked and they're browned. And this is what it looks like when they come out. And these were really delicious. So a nice quick meal. These were filling as well. So you can put lettuce and tomatoes, ketchup, whatever you want on these if you want just like a regular burger. And you can see underneath it did not burn. Giving it 5 minutes only head start, it worked out fine. So this one, another quick, easy, delicious meal for the week. This next one's a tortilla pie. Very simple and easy to make, and you may already have some of these ingredients in your pantry, but you will need 4 tortillas, and I like the carb balance one. You can use whatever kind of tortillas you like. Then I have some onions chopped up, also some cheese, and that's cheddar cheese that I've shredded myself. You need a 14.5 ounce of Mexican tomatoes, it said. Well, these are 10 ounces, so I am using 1.5 cans of this, but I'm making another pie as well for the next day, but I'm going to just show you how to make one. And then I'm going to add, of course, garlic powder, onion powder, some pepper, some seasoning, and you can use whatever you want for this. Some garlic and also some cumin. It called for chili powder, but I'm using taco seasoning instead. So I have about 2 tablespoons of that. And you need some ricotta cheese, 3/4 of a cup. Some, if you like cilantro, use cilantro. I'm using parsley because we don't like cilantro. Also about a 1/4 cup of mozzarella cheese, and you need, it says, a 1/2 pound of ground beef. So this goes very far. It does stretch. It's a good budget-friendly meal. So take your ground beef, your onions, your garlic, and you're going to just season your ground beef because, like I said, you want that extra seasoning in there. So garlic powder, onion powder, and you can really add whatever you want to this, whatever you feel like would, go well with it. Some pepper. Then I'm going to add the seasonings, the taco seasoning and the cumin, and just, sprinkle that on top. Cook this down with the onions and the garlic, and then I'm going to drain off any fat that's there, any grease that comes out of that ground beef. Then, once it's cooked completely, you're going to add the tomatoes. You want to make sure you drain off any juices from it. So this is 1.5 cans, so that way I can kind of get, 14 ounces. But if you can find a 14.5 ounce can, that's great too. But I'm just improvising here. Then I'm going to take the ricotta cheese and add the mozzarella to it. And then I'm going to add the parsley. If you are using cilantro, that's fine. I think it called for either 1 or 2 tablespoons of cilantro. I'm using just some dried parsley, and I'll add a little bit as I go if I need any more. But I think that, seemed like a good amount there. So I just mixed that up. And now I'm going to add a little bit of garlic powder to this. You don't have to. I just like to season it just a little bit more, give it more flavor. So I just stir that up really well. And then the next thing I'm going to do is put my tortillas in like a pie dish or a cake pan. So it needs to be 9 inches, but if it's a little bit bigger, that's fine as well. So I'm just taking those tortillas, and I sprayed my pan, put 1 tortilla down. I'm going to take that meat and half it. So half of the meat will go on the tortilla, and you save the other half for another tortilla. So just, equal it out the best that you can. And right here, I thought maybe add a little bit of cheese to kind of use it as glue to hold that meat in place, because I felt like it wasn't completely together. It was kind of crumbly, so I wasn't sure how that was going to work once it baked. So I just added a little bit just to kind of hold it in place. And then I just, put the rest of the ground beef on there and spread it out the best that I could just to get an even layer. Then I add another tortilla on top, and then for this one you're going to add all of the ricotta cheese on this and spread it out evenly. Try to get it all the way to the edges and just have an even layer along the top of that. Now the next layer is another tortilla, and add the rest of the ground beef to that and spread it out as evenly as you can. I did not add any more cheese to it. I had just enough to kind of finish this off, so it actually worked out pretty good without adding any to this layer. And then once I had that on, I add another tortilla on top. This is your last layer. Then add the cheese over that, and I just add as much as I wanted just to kind of, cover up that tortilla because I didn't want the tortilla to dry out. And I bake this in the oven on 400 degrees between 15 and 20 minutes until everything was, cooked through. And I also covered it with some aluminum foil to bake it, and then I took the aluminum foil off and let it bake for just a few minutes uncovered, and then plated it up. I just cut it into little triangles, into pie pieces sort of, and this was delicious. So this is definitely one to try and super easy to make. Great weeknight meal. I just put some parsley over that, and we also had it with some corn, so you can have it with a veggie if you want, or some rice, anything like that. So this one was delicious. Really did enjoy this one. And it was also filling, so definitely a good one to make. This next recipe is a bubble up Parmesan chicken. I'm sort of winging this one because I did not have all of the ingredients, but I'm going to make do. The recipe called for some popcorn chicken. Since I did not have that, I'm using chicken tenderloins that I already had on hand, and one chicken breast that I cut up as well, just to kind of stretch it a little bit more. And for chicken Parmesan, I would normally put this battered with some Italian breadcrumbs. Since I don't have any on hand, I'm just going to season my chicken really well and fry this up to the brownness that I like, to kind of get a little bit of a crust on it. So I'm just using some garlic powder, onion powder, and I'm also going to use some Italian seasoning as well. So I'm just going to season it as much as I possibly can to get that flavor, to come through with this. And in the recipe, you're going to need biscuits. I only had Grand's biscuits on hand, so I'm just using one can. I think hers had 2 smaller cans of the smaller biscuits. And you will also need a 24-ounce jar of your favorite pasta sauce. And I like the marinara for this. You will need about a cup of mozzarella cheese and a 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. So I also want to show, if you want to get the tendons out of the tenderloin, this is how I do it. I've done this for a long time. I cannot remember where I found the tip to do this, but all you would do is take the fork and kind of put it in between one of the tongs, and then you just pull it with the, pull the tenderloin with the paper towel and then push the fork through, and you will get that tenderloin or the tendon out of the tenderloin. And it's not always going to stay intact as far as, the tenderloin. You can see how it's not, fully together, but that's okay for what I'm using it for. So I'm going to fry that up and just get that crust that I want on the chicken. And then once I have that, I'm going to take the biscuits and cut these into, if you have the small biscuits, you're going to cut them into 4ths. I'm kind of cutting these into 1/3. So I'm going to cut each half into 3 little triangles, since these are, the larger biscuits. And I am only using one can of the Grands. So if you happen to have that on hand, it worked fine with this recipe. I would not use more than 1 can. But if you have the small cans, that would work as well. So I took some of the jar sauce and spread it over the top of the chicken. And I'm going to save the rest to put into this bowl. So add a 1/2 cup of the mozzarella cheese to your biscuits, then pour the rest of the sauce onto that. And if you're using the popcorn chicken, that would be put in to the bowl with the biscuits along with the mozzarella and the whole jar of pasta sauce. Then you would pour it into the pan. But since I'm using the tenderloins, this is how I'm doing it instead. So then I'm putting the biscuits over the top of the chicken, that mixture, and then I'm adding the rest of the mozzarella cheese that I had on hand. So just measure with your heart, and I just felt like that was the perfect amount there. And then you're going to add a 1/4 cup of the Parmesan cheese. And same thing here, I'm kind of adding a little bit more, not much more, but just a little bit more of the Parmesan cheese to this. It is Parmesan chicken, so I feel like it just needed a little bit more than what it called for. But that's totally up to you. Add as much or as little as you'd like. You would bake this in the oven on 375. I baked mine on 350, but you would bake it between 35 and 40 minutes, and this is what it looks like when it comes out. It was delicious. My grandson enjoyed this one. He devoured it, so this one was definitely a good one to try. And we had it with some broccoli, so that kind of made it a little healthier with that. But we really did enjoy this one, so definitely one you might want to try. I hope this video gave you some meal inspiration and some dinner ideas that you can make for your family. We enjoyed each of these, and these were rather budget friendly, so definitely great meals to make on a budget and great for the weeknight meal. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested in seeing more like it, please click that subscribe button and the notification bell. That will notify you when I post new videos. I hope everyone has a blessed day and a great week. I thank y'all so much for watching. God bless y'all.